Hello and welcome to the newest video by Tranquil IT. Today we're going to go over the management of your Mac and Linux agents directly in your WAPT console with WAPT's newest version 1.8. So here I am in my home console, and as you can see I already have a Windows, Linux, and Mac agent that are registered here. So for this demonstration today I'm going to create a new agent for Linux. So to do that, over on my Linux PC here, I'm going to start off by entering cd home/debian/documents. And I have already downloaded my WAPT dev agent onto my machine, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to install its sudo dpkg. So I'll type in sudo dpkg and press enter. So now the installation is in progress. So the difference between an agent that was generated from the console, so here, to a Windows destination rather than an agent for Linux, is that when you generate an agent from the console, it will directly put the right parameters in apt-get any file, and it will automatically copy the certificates to the machine directly integrated into the installer. Although with Linux, it's a little bit different. It's up to you. So here on my PC, I already have my apt-get any file. So I'm going to copy in the WAPT installation folder simply by entering sudo cp apt-get any and then afterwards I'm going to copy my certificate, so I will type in sudo cpf So from there, my agent is ready, so I'm going to be able to do a sudo apt-get register. So I can see that my machine has checked in. So if I go over to my console and click refresh, I can see my machine has appeared here, but it is not reachable at the moment. So I will, because I haven't started the service yet, so back on my Linux PC, I will start the service by entering sudo systemctl restart WAPT service. And back in our console, we can see that our agent has appeared and is reachable. So we have just created our new Linux agent. To start off, we're going to take a deeper look into our separate agents. So our Linux, Mac, and Windows. So over here, we'll head over to our software inventory. So here we can see a full list of software that is available on our Linux PC, as well as our hardware inventory. While we don't have our WMI, we do have plenty of information with DMI. We have our features, system information, BIOS information, etc. This is going to be the same for Mac. We don't have WMI, but we do have our DMI, so we can look for our memory, device, system information, etc. As well as we have our software inventory available here, which we can also see on the right hand side of our Mac PC, and the same we have for Windows, which we have seen previously. So what we are going to be doing today is we are going to deploy a package onto 3 of our clients' PCs, all on separate operating systems. So we'd like to deploy a package onto Debian, Darwin, which is Mac, and Windows. So to start off, I will head over to my software repository, and here I will search for my package VLC. And here we can see I have the package available for Linux, Windows, and Darwin, which is Mac again. So now I'm going to test this deployment and send it to 3 of my clients' PCs, all on different operating systems. Before I do that, I will quickly check to make sure that I don't have it already installed on these PCs. So my Windows machine, we don't have it there. Check on our Linux. Don't have it there. And as well on our Mac. We don't have it there yet. So now I feel confident in deploying this package. So what I will do is I will simply select my 3 machines. So I'll select my Linux, my Mac, and my Windows. Simply right-hand click and drop down to Add Package to Host Dependencies. This is where I'll search for my VLC package. I'll simply check one here and click OK. Now if I check for upgrades and refresh my screen, we can see that my packages are waiting to be deployed. So on Windows, we have our VLC here, our Mac, and our Linux. So I will simply push this deployment by selecting my 3 machines and clicking Apply Upgrades. Now we will just give that a moment to deploy our software package VLC. So we can see it's running the installation now. So it says it's been installed. We will check here. My Linux machine and VLC was successfully deployed and installed onto our PC. See how it's going with our Windows machine. And the deployment and installation was successful here. And we can see on our Mac, VLC has successfully been installed. So now with the newest version of WAPT 1.8, I'm able to deploy one package across my entire park regardless of the OS machine. On the other hand though, it is necessary that in my private repository, I do have that package available for all 3 operating systems. So I need to make sure that if I will deploy VLC onto my separate clients, I do have a package for Linux, Windows, and Mac. So looking deeper into these packages, I will start off with our Mac. We'll open this with our PyScripter. So here we're in our control file, and we can see that our target OS is Darwin, Mac. And if we head up to our setup Py folder, in fact, I have my run listed here, which I took directly from the internet to figure out how to set up to install a DMG. So now my DMG is directly in the root of my WAPT package. I've also integrated an audit feature, so if the software is no longer present on my machine, it will show an error. So this way I'll be able to create packages that can go directly onto Mac machines. So if we take a look at our Linux machine, it'll be a little different. We'll open it in our PyScripter as well. So you can see here we have our target OS as Linux. And in our setup folder, you can see that I've told my package to set up VLC, so we don't actually include the deb inside the package. We go directly to the Debian apt layer for Debian. And in this case, after on our CentOS, we will switch to Yum, so there is no problem there. I will simply just tell VLS to set up, and when there is a deinstallation, I will simply tell it to uninstall itself. So from there, for Linux, we're more likely to use solutions like a masking apt for hiding the packages. So back in our console, we're also going to see that I have a package for Linux called VS Code. I'll simply search for that here in my private repository. And when we open this one here in our PyScripter, we can see in our setup folder that it is in fact a dpkg install that we will do. So that's to say that the deb is in the package. So pretty much everything you do under Windows is applicable in the exact same way under a Linux client. So back in my WAPT console, I will tell my Linux machine to deploy and install VS Code. So back in my inventory, I have my Linux client here. Simply click and drag and drop VS Code, and I'll click Save and Apply to directly apply this upgrade. So if we just refresh our screen here, we can see it's in the process of installation. So it's still installing, and I'm finally in the right package that creates the dpkg of my deb VS Code, and therefore the software VS Code will be able to be installed. So we'll check here on our Linux machine. And we can see the installation and deployment of VS Code was successful. So now that VS Code has successfully been installed, with the newer versions of WAPT, we're also able to use this as an editor on our Linux machines. So for example, if I wanted to edit my VLC package, I would simply go here and I would enter in WAPT-get edit tis VLC. What this will do is it will automatically open my VS Code, which I can use as an editor. So you can see here we have my setup Py, we have our installation and deinstallation keys, we also have our control folder, as well as we are able to test our installation and configurations here. So we have our options here, WAPT install, remove, iBuild, upload, etc. So we'll test the installation of our VLC package. And since it's been started with sudo, we will need to enter our password still. And from there, once the installation has launched, I'm now going to be able to build my packages directly in my VS Code. So with this, I can directly develop them as well as control my Linux machines. So here we can be a little imaginative. We can create audits, for example. We can verify configurations, launch software installations, etc. So it's up to you to develop it as you would like. And there you have it, management of your Linux and Mac agents directly in the WAPT console. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to stay updated. Also make sure to check us out on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Reddit. See you again soon for more videos by Tranquil IT.